training.
Hello. Hello, can anybody hear me? Please, if you can hear me, mute your mic and let me know you can hear me.
Yes, you
Yes,
can
we
train.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, how are you all doing? First off, we're going to start with an introduction, right? I don't like starting my class without an introduction. So, let's do it this way. There are some questions I've listed out on my screen. Can you see my screen? All right, so we are going to do it
Yes.
like this, one after the other. You just tell me your name, where you're currently based, what is motivating you to join product design, if you have previous knowledge in product design, and what are your expectations and goals. And then if you have any specific thing you want beyond this bootcamp, you can also say it. So I'm not going to call anybody. Just start. If you're good to go, just unmute and let's start. Okay, so I'm waiting for someone to take the lead.
Okay. Ayo Arimoro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm Ayo Arimoro, and I'm
Oh,
currently based in Lagos.
okay.
Okay, so why I'm motivated to pursue this career in product design is because I already have a knowledge in graphic design, and I realized that it's not just all about graphic design. To advance my skills, I need to up my skills by venturing into product design as well. So having the knowledge of product design will enhance my opportunity even as a graphic designer. Then
Okay, nice one.
number four, have I had prior experience to okay, I've not really had exposure to the experience of product design. Then
Oh,
number
okay.
five, what are my expectations and goals throughout the bootcamp? Well, I intend to learn more on product design. I intend to gain the basics of product design, and then possibly while I try the the practicals on my own, I hope to improve my skill in this field. Then do I, do I have specific goals or aspiration for my career and beyond the bootcamp? Uh, Not specifically, just to enhance my opportunity in the field of graphic design, UI UX design. These are my goals actually, to enhance my opportunity and my skill.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. All right, next person. So I just figured out that everybody is in Lagos, so you might want to skip number two, because if you're not in Lagos, I mean, you won't be here. So you can just say to skip number two and take on. Thank you, Ayo. Who is next? Guys, I don't like my class to be silent, right? We are doing this together. So, next person, Abi, should I call? I can see Basira, I can see Ibukun,
Morning.
Nuruddin. Yeah, yeah. Good morning. So, Basira,
Yeah, I'm back.
after Nuruddin, after Basira, right? You can go. Thank you, Basira. You can continue.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's actually a privilege to be here. My name is Adelaide Bashirat. So the motivation for me to pursue product design is actually because I have interest. I'm a medical doctor and I've always wanted to be in health tech, but I've not really had that opportunity to kind of get a link towards health tech. I felt the next big thing for me should be product design. So that's why I opted. And when I saw the stuff on, I think was it Instagram or so, I can't remember where I saw it. So I now applied for it. So any prior experience or exposure to, yes, I would say yes. But because currently there was one scholarship training I attended. I would say I attended, but I started late, so I could not really catch up. It was basically online. It was a Zoom training throughout. So I really could not cope, and because of the fact that they really introduced us to it, so I really had so much interest in it, and I thought when I now saw the digital and it says it has hybrid, both physical and online, I felt this was the perfect one for me to do, because I felt doing physical would be much more better for me because of my field. It's more like I'm digressing from a different career entirely to another one. So that's why I opted for it. So experience, I would say maybe 5% for me. I just know the basic stuff in product design. I don't really know much. So that's that. Expectation and goals. My expectations and goals throughout the camp. I really want to, by at least during the process, I want to be able to be proud of myself that, oh, I really learned a lot during the whole process. And at the end of the program, I want to beat my chest and be like, oh, I'm a good product designer, and I'm looking forward to gigs, and I'm not just ending here. I'm looking forward to also advancing myself. Specific goals or aspiration for your career beyond. Yes, of course. After the program, after the training, scholarship training, I am interested in going further. So I don't know if the if I'm throwing this out. I don't know if this particular program offers advanced program for people that they taught for scholarship. So if there is an option of that, I wouldn't mind it. I think that's all. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Basila. Your should I call it what should I call it is exactly noted. All right, so Nuruddin. Hello, Nuruddin.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So my name is Akosile Nuruddin. So I stay in Lagos State. I I have a little experience in product design. So first of all, I started uh, with a platform. So, but most of the thing I get in it is the theoretical aspect. So I feel I have to proceed. So then I later get an experience by doing bootcamp. So, but seeing digital gap, so I feel I'm going to learn a lot. Though I have some knowledge, but I believe being hybrid, where I can have the idea of learning physically and both online. So it's going to really help me. So that's one of the things that motivates me, and I really love anything design because I can say maybe I'm talented with that since I was born. So I feel motivated and passionate about it. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Nuruddin. So next person, Bolu Atife. Okay, is no other person saying anything? Hello. Hello. Oh, okay. So no other person is saying anything. So let's just continue, right? So well done for everyone that have spoken. I feel like I see that we have just one goal, which is to learn it. Now, the essence of asking if you have any prior experience is not because um I don't want to. It's not okay, Michael. You're here. Do you want to say something before I continue? Oh, okay. So Michael, you can come up. Sorry, you can come up. So I was not calling names. I was doing it open floor. No, just come up, Michael. You can come up. Hello, can anybody hear him? Because I can't.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you, Mike. I can't hear you, Michael.
Can anybody hear me?
Oh, okay. I
Hello.
can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. My name is Bolu Atife Michael Fadumo,
Okay, Ulu,
and
nice.
I reside in Lagos, here in Lagos, Ayebo. And currently I'm at Ikeja. And what motivated me to pursue career in product design? Can anybody hear me? Share pressure.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Sure.
Okay. It's just that I have passion for it, so I've not actually learned anything about it. But the word design captivates me because I've actually been doing a lot of design my past years, machine design and the likes like that. But it's all about engineering, talking about design. So I really want to digress going into tech world is because the world is already revolving in technology. So and that's why I feel the best choice for me to take this product design. And I'm glad and privileged to have this opportunity. And number four, about any experience. Have I had experience or exposure to design before? No, I haven't. So, and number five, what are your expectations and goals throughout this bootcamp? As in to be at my A game, to be the best in this, and to actually give back to the society, and thereby, through everything I've learned, I want to do more. I want to be better. I want to learn other stuff and be the best. So that is my expectations. So it can only happen with this step. So and that's why I'm privileged to take this. And number five, do I have any specific goals? Oh, okay, for career in UIX design before beyond the bootcamp? No. The UIX is talking about user interface and user experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've actually heard about that before from my friends. I have a lot of friends in tech, so they actually told me about this UIS and just stuff sharp. And as I said, this product design is a step for me to actually venture into the tech world. So I have goals relating to that. As time goes on, I will enhance my goals and I believe I'll be the best at it. So thank you. Do I answer all the questions now?
Yeah, sure you have. Okay, so Michael, if your network is better now, I think you can take the floor and then we'll start after you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Michael.
Yeah, my name is Akash Shat.
Oh wow, Michael, I think your mic has gone down again. I can't hear you.
What about yeah, what about
Still same, right? So you do me a favor. I think you should just type on the chat and and then we can, because your mic is still pretty much not sounding well. All right, guys.
okay,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you
it's
hear me now?
better. Yeah, very better now.
Yeah, my name is Michael Adeni. I'm currently based in Lagos. What motivated me to pursue a career in product design was when I finished from school, I wanted to find something that I couldn't get a job. So I had a short stint on a software, something called ALX. We were doing software engineering. I was frustrated. I was there for 4 months. I didn't get anything. So I was now looking for tech courses that does not have anything to do with code. So that's how I found product design. So I attended a product design bootcamp for like 6 weeks or so. So that was where I can say I got some foundation, but I could not let me say I could not finish up on some things. So have you had any experience to design before? Yeah. So I was introduced to UI to UX a bit, but not deep like that. It's just all these virtual boot camps, free virtual boot camps. They won't go deep like that. So what are your expectations to actually learn value? So I really look forward to building and pushing a career um, in product design. I saw something like portfolio, and even as a product designer, you need to have a solid portfolio, so to be able to get into industry. So do you have any specific goals or aspirations? Yeah, to get into the product design industry, the tech industry. So that's just it.
Oh, okay, so thank you very much, Michael. And now most of you might be wondering why am I asking all of these questions, right? Okay, so let me do it on my own side. My name is Buma, and for this year, we will not be seeing ourselves for from next year, right? We would get to see ourselves. When I mean next year, it's even like 2 weeks or 3 weeks away. 2 weeks away, we'll get to see ourselves. So my name is Buma, and I'm a product designer. I'm going to be an instructor for the 4 weeks that we're going to do it. So the reason I asked what motivated you to pursue a career in product design is because the truth is I know how it can be, right? Coming from myself, before I became a product designer, it was something very difficult. It was not easy, right? Because I was trying to test different things. I like Michael, I went into coding, and after some weeks, man, that this is not for me. It is not for me. Because by the time you're saying you're writing something that will function, but then it's looking like you're writing something strange, and the whole time and all of that. And that's how I left coding. I went to graphic design. I also did graphic design. And from graphic design, I did a whole lot of things, photography and all of that. I was not motivated to product design initially until I came across. So like some of you, yeah, right. The reason I asked this question is because I know how it can be. I never saw product design, like how will I put it? I never researched about product design, but I came across a boot camp, and I was in class one day and they talked, and they showed design, open then it was Figma, I think yeah, X Figma, and started designing mobile apps and website, and that's how I picked interest too. For me, it was like I saw this and I fell in love with it from the first day, and that's how I started doing it. So yeah, I believe that some of us are also in this kind of situation that we don't know what product design is all about, but then we're here because we want to get a tech skill. Now that's the goal, get a tech skill. So for expectations, I like asking expectations so that I also get to put it in my own plan while I'm teaching, so that I'm going to help us achieve it. If not all, I'll try to ensure that we achieve what sorry guys. If not all right, but just so that I'm able to help you achieve your goals and expectation. And then the last question, the reason why I asked it is because I've met some persons that they do product design, and at the end of the day, they end up not using it. They get to leave it to focus on another thing, which is actually very normal. So I would want to know your question, right? Your taste and all of that. So that's basically all about me and why I'm doing this. So we'll just get to start. This is me telling us how the program is going to be. So we are going to we are going to take this program this way, right? Where we get to do the fundamentals. First week we're going to do mostly the fundamentals, what design is all about, and then we'll get into the UX extensive, and as we talk about the process, the design process, how you can build something solid, and then we'll get to the confident, you get to the place where you're confident as a designer, get to also work on your capstone project. I guess you've been told about that, where you get to work on your capstone project. Now, just so you know, there'll be a lot of assignments, right? There'll be a lot of assignments because I mean we have 4 weeks and we have to cover a whole lot. So your assignment, just note that for every class there will be assignments, and these assignment will be something that would stress you, right? It's going to stretch you. So I'm trying to prepare your mind for it. I'm trying to prepare your mind for it so that it's not when we get to that point. So guys, so I'm trying to prepare your mind. So lecture, assignment, and all of that. Now, there's also one more thing in this class that it's one thing you need to know is there's no wrong answer and there is no right answer in this class. So because we are all learning, I take it that we are all on a journey, we are all learning. So one thing you need to note is if you have any suggestion, you have any question, or any question is asked in class, right? There's nothing like a wrong answer or the right answer. You give all your answers and we get to analyze it, because I've come to even realize that in product design, sometimes what you feel is wrong might be good to your users. So feel free. So what am I trying to say? Feel free, right? Answer questions in class, ask questions. There is no foolish questions. So we are all open here. We get to take it. No one is going to judge you on your question and all of that. Now now the next thing is all to this program, right? So one of the things that I'll be sending often would be resources. Now, these resources will get to check it yourself. You get to check for resources yourself. I'm also going to give you. Now the goal of it is so that uh you two can get to know how to look for things yourself, because it's beyond the boot camp. Boot camp is 4 weeks. After 4 weeks we would all be busy with different things and we might not get that opportunity to respond to individual questions. So from week one, from this week, we'll start looking out for informations by ourselves, so that it's going to help us. So what is the tool we are going to use in this program, or what are we going to use for the purpose of this course? We are using Figma. So Figma is a prototyping tool, or should I say Figma is a collaborative tool that we use as designers. So for graphic designers, we have Canva, we have Photoshops, we have illustration and some other tool. Then for UI UX, we have for UI UX, right? We have Figma, we have XD, we have Sketch, and all other tools. But just for this class, because of this class, we'll be using Figma. And the reason why we're using Figma is because it's a collaborative tool and it's very easy to use. You can easily go online on figma.com and you get it. So before the end of the class, right, we would get to create a Figma account. So when we get to that point, we'll get to do that, the Figma account. So is there any question for me before we move further? Okay, so let me assume that there's no question since nobody is saying anything. All right, now, what are the careers in UI UX design? So, who answered that question? Yeah, someone said UI UX, no. Product design, yes. So, don't be confused, right? We use them interchangeably. They almost mean the same thing, but they are like slightly different. So after today, you get to understand the difference between UI, UX, and then the product design. Now, what is UX? UX is basically user experience, just like the name. What is user experience is just you trying to user experience, right? Let me just take us to let me take us through this. um Let's use, for instance, you go to a bank, right? I don't know anybody has gotten that kind of experience. You go to a bank and your aim of going to the bank is maybe they blocked your account and you can't do it online. Like you can't change what you want to change online and you need to be in a bank. And then you get to the bank. When you got there, they said bank opens by 8 o'clock. But as at 9 o'clock, you were still outside. They've not opened the gate. Now, you've waited for 1 hour, right? And it's frustrating because you need to finish from the back and go back to do what you need to do for the day. And then they've not opened, and the security comes after 2 hours by 10 o'clock and start shouting at everybody at the gate. I'm like, are you people daft? Are you this? Do this, do this, do this. After shouting, right, they now open the bank and allow you people to enter. You decide you queued because you came in late, you came in, some persons were there before you, and then when it got to your turn, they now tell you that there's no service and they are closing. And they said the way they told you that there's no service is actually very rude. Now, how would you call that experience? What would you say about this whole scenario? So like I said, my class is always I like my class to be very interactive because we learn from each other, right? So you can unmute when once there's a question to answer. Now this is how would you explain this scenario to somebody? Anybody can unmute to answer.
I would say horrible, and probably that would even want to make me tell people not to patronize that kind of bank, because I'm going to have negative comments about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, from what you can see, that is an experience, right? But it is negative experience. So, one thing, what you need to know about UX is the overall experience that you want your users to have with your product. So, UX is mostly about the experience, the overall feeling you want them to have. Now, one thing you need to note is there's either a bad feeling or a good feeling, so it's not left for you for you to know which one you want to give to your users. Now, I would give us a simple task, right? It's something we'll do on our own. You should go on job boards, LinkedIn, yeah, on Instagram. Sometimes they post all of these job boards, including Telegram. I think we have aside LinkedIn, what job we have a lot like Jobberman and all of those ones. You should be able to find them. Just search for jobs, right, and type UX role and see. Now, once you search for it and you see it, I want you to now reflect on if you really want to do this and be motivated, see the different kind of skill that is there. Then once you're done, right, you should create a career roadmap for yourself. So what I mean by a career roadmap is give yourself steps and target and say, okay, from this time to this time, I want to do this, and these are the things I want to do that. So I want you to do it personally. You're not going to submit it. So it's just like a personal task that if you complete, right, it's going to help you in your learning process and all of that. So that's basically what I want us to do here. Now, there are different key terms that you would always come across in your journey as a product designer. Now, these are the key terms. We have the user UX design. For UX design, I talked about it's about the user experience. You design an experience for your users. If you want them to have positive experience or you want them to have negative experience. And then we have the UX research, still the same user experience. Anywhere you see UX, just know that it's user experience. But then when you talk about research at this point now, you're trying to find out from your users how you can solve their problem, right? Using different means. we have the visual design. For those of you that have done graphics one way or the other, visual design is basically doing graphics, adding colors, adding this, and all of these other ones. And then we have the information architecture. With time, we'll get to break this down one after the other, right? So don't be confused. I'm just trying to list out the thing to you here as you go as a product designer. We have the information architecture. For information architecture, is basically just like the name architect, right? Once you hear the word architect, you know that these people are people that draw the plan of any building. So for information architecture, it's just you drawing the plan of all your content that you would want to have on a platform. Then we have the content strategy. For content strategy, when we move further, right, you get to realize that product design is beyond just the designing of all of this. Because there's some, if you notice, right, for those of you that have done graphic design before, sometimes if you work in a very big company, or not even a very big company, most times you don't get to create this content yourself. You don't think about the content. People give you content, and then you just need to ensure that the visual part of it is coming out very well. So that's what most graphic designers they do. But when you talk about product design, you're concerned about so many things, right? So before I continue, right, how many persons are here because you feel like it is a very simple skill to learn in tech? So you can just put it on the chat. If you don't want to, just put it on the chat. Me, I, anyone. If you know that you feel like product design is simple, that's why you're here. Like it's simple, unlike coding and the rest of them. That's why you're here. Just let me know. So let me know if we are in the same WhatsApp group, or we can now filter some people from here. Don't mind me. Okay, so nobody feels that it's very simple. All right, that's good. We are all in the same WhatsApp group then. We are in the same WhatsApp group. We know that it's not very simple. So just put it in mind that it is not. It is not, right? If you have that mentality, just know that it's not. It's something that would that okay, Vasira, you know it's not. Yeah, thank you. We all agree. At least we're in the same WhatsApp group now. We can continue our conversation. So let's continue. So we have what we call wireframing, right? Wireframing is more like beyond the design itself, beyond what you get to see. Wireframing is like the sketching, where you get to sketch your idea and all of that. When we get to wireframing, you notice that we have three types of wireframing, where we have the low fidelity, high, and mid. Now, for some people it's two. So we have accessibility, usability testing, just like the word. One good thing about this, right, is that from the word you'll be able to predict, or you'll be able to assume what the meaning is. So usability testing, two of these words. You're testing if your product is actually usable, if people can use it. So that's what usability testing is. Then accessibility, from the word, English word, how versatile is it, how can people use it. Information architecture, we've talked about it before, but this one now is talking about the person that draws this information out. Then we have the interaction design, user UI design, product design, front end design, and all of that, right? There's a whole lot of things to look. So now let's get into our main course for today, which is, we'll still get back to the previous slide, right? But let's come from this angle. Now, what is UI UX design? For those of us feeling that okay. So what is UI UX design? Now, I'm going to break it down into two. Like I said, user experience, UX design, refers to the total experience that your users would have when engaging with your product. Now, note something about product, right? A product can be digital, it can be physical products. Let me show you an example of a physical product. All right, so let's use, I'm looking for what we can use better, right? Okay, Let's look at this cup. Now, this is a product. This is another product. This is another product. Now, from the first one that I showed us, between this and this, which is more usable? So let's assume that I don't know what kind of cup is this, if it's ceramic or it's glass. So let's assume that it's a glass cup, right? And the kind of glass cup that once you put hot water, it will burn you. Between this and this, which is better? You can see my screen, right? So let's take it as A and B. Yeah,
B is more usable.
B is more usable. Now, so you know, right? When we talk about UX, we're not just talking about digital products because there's a misconception. Once you talk about UI, UX, product design, what comes to people's mind is building website and mobile apps. So it's beyond website and mobile app. There's a particular story in product design a um of a particular company, right? So what they did in the company is that they they were into manufacturing of glass cup, and for the first time they had to bring in something like this into the market with that angle and all of that. And then they noticed that instead of having users, they were having casualties. Basira to understand very well, because once I pick up the cup, let's say I have hot water, it will be hot on my palm, and I would, because of the shock, right? When you pick the reflex action, if you pick something that is hot, the shock, you just want to and throw it down. So when they remove their hand, it spills on their body and they are injured. And then the company had to go back to revisit and found out that their cup was is it ceramic, I've forgotten, and they had to now start working on a good experience, right? A prototype. Then I included handle and made it heat friendly. So they now got back their users. But you can see that it took a lot of people. It took a lot of people to get injured before they were able to realize that this is not what they are supposed to do. So I believe I've been able to convince us that when we talk about products, we're not just talking about digital products. While digital product is the core, because most companies these days, almost everybody, we are trying to build website, we are trying to digitalize all the experience that we get, even with banks. But it's not just digital products. So that's what UX is all about, the total experience that your users will get when they are engaging with your product. It can be um, a sense of contentment, it can be a sense of satisfaction, dissatisfaction, or any of that. And then when we talk about UI, that's user interface, we are talking about the visual and interactive feel element of a digital product. Now, when we talk about the interactive, right, if you're used to mobile apps, you will notice that if you're used to mobile apps, right, you will notice that if you click on a particular button, it will get to move so if you click on a particular button, it will give you some form of interaction. That means it's going to move to the next page and all of that. So that's what the UI means. If you look at this particular screen, you can see that the interface, you can see the interface. If I move my mouse here, you can see different interaction. That's the over interaction and all of those other ones, right? So one thing you need to note is for every experience, you have something like a visual element to back it up. Now, who is a UI designer? A UI designer is someone that is concerned. So a UX designer first, right? A UX designer is someone that is concerned with the overall feel of a product. So now, you're concerned about building experiences for people, positive experience only, please. So you get to, what do? You get to conduct research to observe your users so that you know how to solve their problems very well. Now, one thing you need to put in your mind as a product designer is that you always need to create best and good experience for people. At no point should your experience be bad. So now let me use something that Basirat, you can relate with, right? So sorry, I'm calling your name too much. So let's say we all know the manual way of trying to do something if as a doctor, or when you fall sick, right? Let's say I fall sick and I need to reach out to a doctor as soon as possible, and I can't get a car that night or all of those things, or I'm not free. Say my hospital is very far. Now these days they are building products where you can come online, right? You can come open the app and you can get to school and see different doctors, and then you can click on a particular doctor and then you can converse with the doctor. AI and visual realities is even making it very easy now that some people have integrated. It has not got into Nigeria, right? But this is like an idea where you integrate AI visual realities, right? And you will be sick and you can converse with the doctor, and it will be like you guys are there together. So I watched a movie. I think Elevator Baby, one Nigerian movie. I think that was 2 years ago. I can't remember, but in the movie, right? The only I got something from that particular movie, where a guy saw himself in an elevator, a locked elevator with a pregnant woman that is almost due, and then our water broke there. Now, in that kind of situation, what is going to happen is it's either because the man can't do anything, he's not a doctor, or he has never seen when if someone is given birth. What would have happened in that situation is mostly likely to be the woman will lose her life and lose the baby. But what happened in that situation is he picked up his phone and called someone, and they started directing him on what he can do. Now, bring it back to us. It can be like a medical app where you can yeah, they say we should not take self medications, but there's sometimes that you need first aid as soon as possible and you won't be able to get it. But something like a directional app where once you click on it and you're in one sort of emergency, they can give you like a self-care till you're able to solve it. Like our customer service, if you call customer service to solve something, they'll tell you press one. To do this, press one. For English, to press one. That way, we are solving all of these things. Now, how do you get to solve this problem? You can't even solve it if you don't observe how your users do what they do, how they do it, and how you can help to do it. So the core of a UX designer is solving users' problem, giving them good experiences by researching to observe their behavior. Are we together? Are we following? Am I too fast? Am I too fast or I'm too slow?
They're doing well.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm not too fast. I'm not too slow. All right. All right. So that's it. So what are the deliverables? What are the things you need to put in your mind as a UX designer? One is you would always, this is like your day-to-day life. So just take it that your day-to-day life as a UX designer is you conduct with clients to understand their goals. So now this is beyond clients, right? This is beyond clients. You conduct with clients to understand them. Now we're talking about clients. Some of us we freelance before, and once you're a freelancer, yeah, right. If a client should meet you for a job, the client is supposed to explain their goals to you for you to understand their goals. And then the next thing is you get to explain user research. You conduct user research. You conduct research as a UX person with your end users, with your so for different product, right? You might possibly have different set of users. Now for the medical app, let's say for the medical app, you get to have two set of users. The first one, that's the end users, the people that are in problem that would use your app. And then the next set of people that you'd always meet, the doctors. You need to also understand their own parts of the story. They would always say, yeah, I came to believe this particular word when I became a product designer. There's always two sides of a story, right? There's always two sides. Now, these two sides, they are complementing each other. Let's say, for instance, Uber app. Uber app, we have two categories. We also have we have the drivers And then we have the end users, the people that will order the rides and all of that. And then you need to understand each side. You need to understand their problems very well before you can be able to solve it for them. And then the next thing you will do as a UX person is you get to develop personas and user story. What is persona? A user persona is like a fictional representation of your users, of your target users. Now, I've been talking about health for a while now. Since I started, I think I've been using it. I don't know what Basira did to me, but I've been using health. Now, let's say for health, right? We have different personas. These personas can be very, like I said, it's a fictional representation of your target user. Now let's say you're picking me as a target, as someone from your sample size, and you're saying this is Buma. Buma is so and so age. She has this particular ailment. She has difficulty in sleeping, and is that insomnia? Is it yes, that's insomnia. So she has insomnia, sorry, and she doesn't sleep very well. And this is a pain point, right? You now start listing out the pain point of me, and then what is the goal I want to achieve. So for a persona, you see those questions we answered for the first time, you can add them in your persona because you're getting to know this person's pain point. You want to also know this person's goal so that you better know how to help for this person. And then what is user story? User story is just telling the story in your user's voice. So it's just like documentaries, right? Is it documentaries or biography? I think it's biography. Is it biography or auto? One of these ones, right? It's been long. So one of these biography, you get to write it, but then you don't get to read it yourself, right? Another person gets to read it for you. But the person that is reading it is reading it based on how you wrote it. So that's what user story is. Then we have usability testing. You get to conduct usability testing every time. So at the end of the day, when you're done bringing anything you want to bring to the market, for instance, you have the cup, the glass cup. You're done designing the glass cup. Who are the people that would use it? You have to give them to test it. When they test it, they will now be the ones to tell you if you have done a great job or not. And then another deliverable you would always do is you would always create wireframe. Wireframe, like I said, is sketch of what you want to picture, or the sketch of what, or the prototype, or the screen, should I say. You're not showing us what you want to do. Now, if we go back to creation, right? So for people that create sugar, is it sugar? Okay, let's use sugar, right? For Dangote, right? When they want to create sugar, they already have these materials that, okay, this is it. But it's not going to be complete. You already have the process, the materials. It's not going to be complete if we don't see the final version of it. That's the sugar. So that's what wireframe is. After all of your research, after all of your personas, after all of those things, you need to show us the proof. So let's use the word proof. So it's just like you conducting research and there's no evidence. You have to show us. There's no need explaining. We want to see the practical. At the end of these 4 weeks, right? If you can't build a product or if you can't design a product live, there is actually no what's it called? If you can't build a product, there is no evidence that you've done this class. It will be like we've been talking from day one. If you can't do practical, so that's what wireframe is. Then we have what we call the storyboards, right? For storyboards, it's more like you creating. Okay, what will I use? If you're a movie lover, yeah, you will know that for every movie, before every movie will come out, first of all, there will be like something that the inspiration. So that's what like a storyboard. The inspiration, you'd get to see people for good screenwriters, for very good screenwriters, some of them they draw, they picture things. So it would be like I'll start drawing and say, okay, this is Boma, this cartoon kind of. So I think I should show us what it looks like online so that we can better understand what we are doing. So this is an example of a storyboard. A storyboard is this that you can see here, where you get to say, okay, you start drawing what what you have pictured. You start painting it in sequence and say, okay, this is point A. point A, right? A user comes to the platform, then from the platform, where a user gets up in the morning and the person is having headache, and from the headache, he gets to his drawer to look for painkillers like paracetamol, and he could not find one, and then he picks up his phone and went on Google to check for an app, and then he saw an app, downloaded the app, installed it. So you see all of these things, creating stories um regarding what you want to do. So it's something that you always do. Then we have what we call the sitemap. That's like user flow, right? You will now get to create directions in which the user would actually follow to do what the user wants to do. Now the next one is creating prototypes, product prototypes. So interchangeably we use wireframe and prototypes together. You can get to see high fidelity prototype, low fidelity, the same way you see wireframe. So they all mean the same thing. You can call it prototype or you can call it wireframe. So can we move on? Is there any question before we move on? So if you have any question, right, you can ask. So whenever there's no wrong question, there's no right question. If you're not clear on anything, you can ask so that we don't get far before you now start asking. Okay, so I take silence as there's none. Now, one thing you need to always do is, what you always hear users say is, um, we should. What so one thing I do, right, when I'm designing is I get to think of if this part, I get to ask myself this question: what next? I get to put myself in the shoes of the users, which is very important or very mandatory. You need to do all of these things and always ask yourself what next. If someone should give you food, right? Someone should give you food, or yeah, what are you going to tell the person? Or someone should dash you money. The first thing you tell the person is thank you. Now let's take this and put it in our digital product, right? You want someone to sign up or you want somebody to buy something from your, so I have this attitude of telling drivers, so if I come down from any vehicle, I'll tell you thank you and I'll go. So I've done that a couple of times in Lagos, and then sometimes the conductors they look at me. So once I stop, I tell you thank you. Now that's because it's actually right to do that, right? So that's the same thing we do. You notice that sometimes when you design and you come to the end of the design, or they successfully do something, you tell them thank you, or you tell them successful. If you're searching different apps, you see that it's a norm. So you always ask yourself, what next? What am I going to, if a user should do this, what should I do? If a user should do that, what should I do? So these are questions, or these are things you would always get to see or say as a product designer. Now as a UX designer, now the next one is UI design. Who is a UI designer? A UI designer is someone that creates the screens of any product. So I believe that we all use one app or the other on our phones. Should I ask the is it that does everyone on this call use Uber, or you've used Uber before? You've downloaded Uber app one way or the other? Okay, so I believe that we've all used one app one way or the other. So you see those screens you see on those apps from A to Z, from when you sign up, from the onboarding to when you get to say when you get to order for the ride, to when your ride comes, to when you pay, and when you close the app. You see all of those screens one after the other. There are people that created these screens one after the other. So those people are called UI designer. A UI designer is someone who creates all the screens that the user will navigate while using the app, the website, the smartwatch, anything you can think of, including your cups, your physical products, including your thermometer, including your including your all of those things. It's a user that actually created it. Now they usually work with UX designers, because UX designers will be the one that will go to the field to get this data for them, to create this experience, and then they now bring it to life by creating these screens. So UX designer map out the vision for the products and the kind of experience they want, and the UI designer in turn take it to create the screens that the user will interact and navigate with. Now, what are the deliverables of a UI designer? So you can see that most of the deliverables you can hear here are mostly deliverables around visuals, style guides. You have to ensure that there's a visual language, consistency, and all of those other ones. And then you get to design every individual screen that you need to use. You have to design the interactivity of each screen. That if I click from here to here, where is it going to? Then when you talk about animation, you get to create animation and all of that. So this is just the picture of everything we've said so far about the difference between a UI person and a UX person. For a UI, for the UX, you can see that you can just see the difference. While this is without color, there's no color, but this is still doing the same work. So it's just like having somebody. Let's say, how many ladies do we have here? Let me know what I'm going to use. All right. So now combining the two, right? A UI UX and that UI UX, that's what we know as UI UX. Let's paint this picture. You know that we are all humans, and one way or the other we act with emotions, right? So let's just assume that someone is working as a guy or as a lady. You see someone walking towards you and this person is fine, right? That's the first thing that attracts you. Let's say the person's beauty, the color, and all of that. So just take it that UI is the physical appearance, those things you see in an individual that you like, and then you want to talk to this person, or you want to do anything you want to do with this person. That's the UI. And then when we talk about the UX, we're not talking about the personalities, this person's personality. We're talking about this person's character, this person's all of those things. Now you know one thing, right? The UI, the beauty and all of that of this person will attract you to the person. That's how most of us we end up opening an app that we don't get to use. Personally, I had to download an app called Airwall because of how fine the UI is. But I've never used it. It's not because the experience is bad, no, but because that is the first thing that attracted me to um this person. That's what attracted me to this person. So just the picture, we are able to understand that for UI, for UX, we are not concerned about the color, we're just concerned about the scenarios, user research, information architecture, the design, and all of that. Then for UI, we are concerned about the whole finest of this is the typography, the layout, the colors, and all of that. So if you're a graphic designer or you're used to graphics, right, you notice that it's going to be very easy for you to just go into UI UX, because when I mean easy, not extremely easy, because you already know colors, you already know visuals and all of that. So it gives you an upper hand. But if you're not into graphics, right, we are still going to do all of those things and would all be on same page. So now the next question is for the person, and the next question is, who is a product designer? We've talked about UI UX, and now it's time to talk about the product designer. A product designer is a full stack designer. So what do I mean by a full stack designer? So assuming you're a full stack designer, now you do UI UX, you do the two, that is part of your work. And then you are now taking in charge of the management of the products and the business goals and the objective. So you're not just involved in just the building, looking at how it's good, the experience. You're not just concerned about the looks, you're concerned about the business goals, you're concerned about the objective. So you're concerned about the product from start to finish. Are we clear? Are we together? or you would want to ask question here?
We are together.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
together. You see that?
Yeah, so a product designer is a full stack designer. So just the way you have full stack developers that do front end and back end, for a product designer, you're doing both the UI UX, and then you're concerned about the overall product itself. So what you're doing is you're concerned about identifying the product, you're concerned about the user research, you're concerned about the visuals, and then you're also concerned about the business goal. So these are the things you're concerned about: the surface, the structure, the skeleton, the scope, and then the strategy. So when we talk about the surface, you're concerned about the visual design, the visual design. When we talk about the skeleton, you're concerned about the interface and interaction. When we talk about the structure, you're concerned about the information architecture, you're concerned about the user flow and all of that. And then when we now talk about the scope, you're concerned about the functionalities, you're concerned about the content. And then when we talk about the strategy, you user needs, the project goals, how it's going to make money. So that is why when you were applying for this thing, you applied for a product designer role. Sorry, I said role, I'm thinking job. You applied as a product designer. So just know that you're going to learn all, like everything. But then if you decide to say, okay, the only difference between a product designer and a UI UX designer is the fact that you now remove the business part. You remove the business part. You remove you're just concerned about the surface and the skeleton. The surface and the skeleton. You now remove the strategy and all of those other parts. You remove them. They are not part of what you want to do, right? So that's the difference. Now it's not time for us to now look at why we need to become product designers. Why should you become a product designer? Why is it important that you become a product designer? Now, one of the importance of becoming a product designer is it is a collaborative field, and it is a collaborative and very creative field, right? It's something that contributes to joy and job happiness. You're concerned about different fields. When you talk about psychology, design, business, technology, you're concerned about it cuts across everywhere. You can collaborate with different people. You can collaborate with designers. You can collaborate with non-designers. You can collaborate with different fields, right? And then you work as a team in all of these things. So you work with different set of people as a product designer, including marketers and all. Now, the next one is, if you like teamwork, you're in a very good field. The next one is in terms of job security, right? You're in a very good space. AI will not come and take your job. You should not be scared of that one. AI taking your job. No, we are not scared of all of those things, because for us, right, our job is something that at every point in time, there will be products that you build. Even the AI tools that will come, they need a designer, a product designer, to design this product for them to sell it out. So you see, you always have job. Then when you talk about money, right, a lot. UI UX, there's a lot of money in product design. There's a whole lot of money in product design. So as a product designer, you earn very well, and so on. Now, you can also work in different industry. If you decide that today you want to work in Shrine, yeah, you can decide to build an app for Babalawos, and you are good to go. If you say you want to work in church, you decide to build a streaming app for church people, you're good to go. If you want to be a freelancer on your own, you're good to go. So for anything you want to do, right, you'll be able to do it pretty well. You'll be able to work in any of this industry. And then it is a field that your future is guaranteed. With it, your future is guaranteed, and all of that. And then the first one, I actually brought it last. What you need to note is you're a problem solver. As a product designer, you're a problem solver, and the world will always need problem solvers, right? It's it's something that the world will always need them. So take it in you that you're a problem solver. You would always solve problems. And that means it is a good thing. If you like solving problems, it's a good thing that you are here and we are going to solve problems together. Yeah, Michael, I'm going to share it later. All right, so next one, we are going to look at the different skills that we can have as product designers. I'm sorry, let me confirm something from the host. Okay, so you're a problem solver, like I said. Now, the next thing is what are the skills you need as a product designer? What skill should you have? So even if you don't have it now, right, you get to learn it on the go. One of the skill is communication. Now, the reason why I use over communication is because what you need to note is you would always be describing plenty things, project requirements, company goals, work methodology, vision, all of these things. You'll be talking about them in details by details. So it is very important that you remember how to communicate, because you can't do this work if you don't like talking to people. You can't do this work if you're not a good communicator. You'd always need to talk to people. So what you don't want is people misquoting you. In our work, right, in our field, we don't like people misquoting us. We don't like all of those things. So it is very important, very, very important that you always communicate. So just look at this picture, right? What can you get? So I want someone, so I've been doing the talking, right? I want someone to tell me from this picture, what can you explain out of it? From A to B, what can you explain? Guys, if you are too quiet, Abi, I should mute everybody's mic. Hello. Okay, Moshood, you want to say something? Please go on.
Sorry, I don't get the question.
Okay, I said, look at this picture, right? This particular picture, what image, or look at this image, so what is coming, what scenario or what story is coming into your head?
Like, what you say is different from what it was implemented by the rest of the team.
Okay, exactly. All right, Basirat, you want to say something?
Yes, just to add to what he said. So I think the picture is depicting that the tutors shows them that we have a plan B, but the audience are already interpreting the plan B in the best way they understand it. So which was not well really explained. I think that's what I can say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's basically it, right? You can see that you're always doing talking, you're always talking as a UI UX person, as a product designer. So one thing you need to note is you're saying something, and we all know that humans can be very funny. I can say A and then they would hear B. So that's what is happening in this picture. I'm talking about most persons are already analyzing it, showing me different things, and some people are saying it makes sense. What is even making sense? This person doesn't know. It's more work, cupcake, and this one is saying plan A, got it. So the whole essence of over communicating is the fact that you have to be consistent and ensure that people remember everything you're saying. Are we clear? Now the next one is self confidence, right? Um, after you are your person, right? You always need to be you always need to be confident. Um, you always need to be confident because you are talking to different people, and just get put it in mind that some person will come and how what word should I use? Some persons will come and tell you that your work you're not important. I've actually seen situations where some persons don't even know what exactly we are doing there, and some persons are also unsure of what they are doing. You would always get imposter syndrome, and it's going to affect your work. But with self-confidence, right, you would always believe in yourself. You get to, whether people criticize your work or people commend your work, you should always keep going regardless. Believe in yourself that you're doing something. Now, the thing is, people won't take you serious if you don't trust yourself. So this is a very important skill you need to build over time. Now, the next one is being inquisitive. As a product designer, was anyone saying anything to me? Okay, you need to be inquisitive, right? When we be inquisitive, you need to always ask questions because that's part of your work, or that's a very important aspect of your work. Question, always asking question. Now, one thing you need to note is because you're always talking to people, you would want to ensure that you understand them the best way you can understand them. And when we talk about user research, you realize that there are different types of research,
Hello?
and one of it is hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I wanted to say that word confidence, you just like as if you gloss over it because somebody who is not confident, it means that the person is not really competent or have no understanding of what he has actually produced or given out for people to have an experience with. So the confidence must be derived from the competence and the in-depth understanding of what the person is doing. Because if that could not be manifested based on that understanding, people will not trust the product.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to get what you mean, right? So when I mean self-confidence, so first off, as beginners, now let me talk from starting there as beginners. When I started initially, right, there are some times that I could not post my work because I was not confident to post my work. Now, and I'm very sure that some of us are also in that category where you do something and you can't put it because you're scared of people criticizing you. So you need to build that first. You need to kill any of this particular syndrome that will make you know to believe in yourself. So we know that criticism helps us to improve, right? Criticism helps us to improve and all of that. But then you can't improve without practicing. You can't start today and become a pro by tomorrow. You need to practice. And if you practice and you keep it to yourself, what happens? People would not even see your words. People would not even see your work. So the first thing is you need to be confident in yourself to show out these things that you're pushing out, these designs that you're doing. You'll be able to show it out to people to say, okay, this is what we are doing. This is what I have built. Then let them criticize you. Now, also another thing comes with criticism. If I criticize you the first time, I criticize you the second time, and I do that the third time, there won't be a fourth time because you would not want to show me the work. You would already lose trust in yourself. So that's why you see that confidence, whether you know the work or not first, you need to build it. So it's something that you need to consciously develop. Now we have books that can help you. We have courses that can also help you with that. So it comes with a job. It's not just with product design, right? With different jobs, it comes with it. Where I've seen people that have you seen people that argue when they don't even know the thing? But because they have confidence in you, in themselves, you see them argue as if it is the right thing. Like they would seriously be arguing. So that's the first thing you need to build it. Then you now get to work on the other one, the competence and all of that.
Well, I heard you, but I think I still have a diverse understanding on that because what you know best is what you can defend. If somebody stand against what you know convincingly, that means that that person is not even meant for you. So it's not about that person alone because the word is for everybody. The person can have his own view and must stand by his own view. But at least according to you, user experience, what I've designed and able to prove it, how it works and solve their problem and give satisfaction to them. At least out of 10 of you people, maybe if a sizable number of it can say something because the other person who have an opposing view may have it intention to stop me from taking a step further. And so having understood that what I have done is able to solving a problem, why should I be discouraged? Otherwise, possibly you also need to highlight what would have built confidence in us so that we can able to get through with this project. So that is my thought, and we thank you, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So I think now I get what you mean, right? The steps that you need to use to build confidence as an individual. Now, should I say first I understand where you're going through that, what you know. So like what you know. Now I'm still trying to let you know that. So by reading books, you need to read books, right? And then another thing that will boost your confidence is when you practice. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because at the end of the day, if you get to work in real time, sometimes you know that we just assume that this is how things are. I work in a company, and till today there are certain times that you would even doubt your design. And I'm not saying it, I'm an instructor, I'm the one teaching here, but there are certain times you doubt your design because the next person you're showing it to is saying no. And if you're not confident enough, that is why I also agree that if you do something right, you would be confident in it. So that's why you also need to put in the effort to ensure that it is right. So before, there are different processes before we come up with any design, right? And with time we get to talk all of that. But I can't come now and start teaching you how to build self-confidence. No, I can't. But I'm telling you, it is a skill that you need to have. So and since it's a skill, you need to go and develop it and learn it. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one, which is be inquisitive. You need to always ask the appropriate question for you to become a very good designer and for you to be productive. Remember that the core of the design process is the empathizing phase, which is where you get to empathize with your users. Now, when empathizing with your users, you do what we call research. For you to research, you have to talk to people, you have to do all of those things. There's a lot of questions that you need to answer. Now, for you to answer these questions, you need to, for you to be able to know the real problem, because I believe that behind every problem, there is a different problem. So, let me ask something. Let me use somebody here. What am I using? Okay, so Bolu, can you tell us the chores that you hate the most?
So I hate the most is washing clothes.
Washing clothes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So now let's say this is a problem for Bolu, right? Bolu washing clothes is actually a problem for him, and that might be because okay, let me not even just go be inside it. So with the few things we've learned so far, right? With the few things we've talked about UI UX and all of that. If you want to solve the problem for Bolu, what will you do? Or what are the different suggestions, or what are the different things you suggest for Bolu to help him solve his issue of laundry? So this is an open question. Okay, Basira, yeah, go on.
Okay. There are so many options I would give, but probably I want to consider Bolu's pockets, or I can suggest if you would want to use the help of a professional by giving the clothes to dry cleaner to do for him, and he can also go the local level. Like probably maybe some people will come home and come and wash for him, which will be quite cheaper than going professionally. Then if the money is there, can get a washing machine. So I think those are the options I think I have for him or him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Is there another person that wants to say something? Okay, so now the thing is, the truth is there are different ways we can solve that problem for Bolu, but it still boils down to we asking him different questions, because we have to be inquisitive. Now I can decide to say, okay, I want to get a washing machine for Bolu, but have I considered his pocket? Okay, let's say he has the money to buy the washing machine. Have I considered his space in his house, how big his house is, or have I considered if he has lights? I also have to consider if, aside the light, if he has water running in his house. Now you can see that from one way, different options is not coming. If I say, okay, I want to do like a get him like a maid or someone that will come and wash his clothes and go, we still need to consider, is Bolu open-minded, or is it, no, sorry, not open-minded. Is Bolu open to allowing visitors into his house to use his space to wash? Does Bolu like people staying around him in his space? We have to consider that one. Now the next option that I can decide to give to him is for me to build an app, right, where he can order for what's it called, where he can order for a laundry guy. But then I can't solve any of this without me getting to talk to Bolu to know exactly his pain point and how we can help him. So at the end of the day, by the time we are done talking with him, we'll get to get the problem behind the problem. So the problem that he has given to us is washing. But then there are other problems that are still in this washing that we need to find out and all of that. And then so some of the questions you'd always get to ask yourself: what is the major issue we are trying to solve here? That's the problem behind the problem. Now the next question is it right? Is it the right problem for us to focus on? So let's assume, right, that we had different problems from just this washing. We've had different problems, and one of it can be become a supplier of washing machine. The next one can be become build an app that will do all of those things. Now, is this the real problem to focus on? Bolu, is washing clothes your major problem? So let me just go this other way. Maybe Bolu really problem is how to make money and not how to wash his clothes. And now we are focused on him washing his clothes when that washing of clothes is like secondary for him. So we'll get to know if this is the right problem you need to focus on. So the next one is it truly deserving of our efforts? Is this something we need to put in our efforts to do? Now, and the next one is, what more problems could you resolve that would provide greater value to your users? So what is the next problem, or what other problem can you solve aside helping Bolu solve this simple problem? Then if with our product, so let's say we have a product. For instance, when Jumia has Jumia Pay, they have Jumia Food and all of that. But do you notice that all of this Jumia Food and all of those other one is not affecting Jumia itself? So you get to also confirm if it is if it's going to spoil your other products that you have in the market. if you don't solve it. So these are questions you would ask. Then you also ask questions like, will it help us to achieve our goal, our product vision and goal? Remember that for every project you want to embark on, you have a vision, you have a goal that you're planning to use, or you have a goal that you've set aside for yourself. So you get to know if helping Bolu with his laundry helping us achieve our goals, or we're just doing work that they did not send us. Now, once you've asked all of this, these first questions are questions that would help you to understand the main problem. That will help you to understand the problem that you're trying to solve. So now, once you're done confirming the main problem, the next thing is you will now get to start asking yourself, what is the company goal? Uh, which of the goals will they at with this particular thing you're doing help you achieve? What are the stakeholders' thoughts? So we have people, we have stakeholders, right? Now, these stakeholders are people that are decision makers on your project, or the decision makers in your project. You need to know if what are their thoughts about it. Then you need to know the KPIs, what are the key performance indicator of this particular product, what are the objective, um, what are the business values. You get to ask questions around if you've met the real goals, if there's enough money for you to do all of these things. You can see how broad now this is getting. It is becoming very broad because you're doing a whole lot of things at this point that is in relation to the business. So that's it for you to be inquisitive. Now, the next one is for you to be expressive about your thought process. So it's beyond you just asking questions and all of that. You need to be expressive. I've seen people that once they ask you questions like, um what are you saying, or what should we do about this, there's no response. So you need to be always you need to be always expressive. You need to talk about how you arrived at this conclusion. So take this, it's very important. In product design, we don't assume. So before we don't assume anything. So when we solve any problem, there are different steps that we had to follow to just arrive at that particular process. So we need to be sure that we are able to communicate, tell people how we are able to arrive at it. So you could also talk about, um you could also ask questions around, when they ask you questions around your solution and what you think about it, you should be able to express it. You should be able to answer question like, what makes you think we should pay attention to you? So let's say they are asking you, remember that you might end up working for somebody. Not everybody will have their own business, so you might end up working for somebody. So you questions around, why should we pay attention to you? Have you considered other options, and what are they? Why do you think would not work, or the other option is not excellent? Is it possible that this option that you're doing would have implication, and all of that? And then what are the opinions of the users to it? Did you have a chance to speak with them personally? So these are things you need to be expressive about. You tell people, okay, I was able to do this, I did this XYZ, and that is why we arrived at this particular destination. So now I want us to do something, a simple exercise before we get to our next thing for today, right? Um, let's do it so far, this simple exercise. So I have a couple of designs. I have there are some that is labeled good, and we have the ones labeled bad. So I just want us to do this simple exercise. Tell me why you feel the one that is good, and the one that is bad is bad. So shall we? All right, guys. So there's a design. So just look at it. Tell me what you feel. Remember, there's no wrong answer. And we are not meant to be quiet at this point. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, hello, Olajide.
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I feel the good design, the command can be easily accessed. Unlike the bad design, it has a lot of command initiated in a box of which the user will find difficult to click on.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Any other person?
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. The first design, as in the button, have only one action presented to us to take, but the bad one have too much actions presented all at once, and the user will be confused. Instead,
Oh,
but in the good design, one action at a time.
oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Is there any other person that wants to say anything before I give my own thoughts on it? Okay, so nobody. So everyone that said something, you're all right, right? You're all right. Um, the bad one, the only thing that is making it bad is because of the words that was used, and it's not direct to the point. If you're not in engineering, you would not understand that this initiate autonomous control sequence means deploy vehicle. They both mean the same thing, right? They both mean the same thing. The only difference in how this was projected how this was projected, right? The words in it. So that's it. So let's look at the next one. All right. So the next one, just look at it. Tell me why you feel the bad one is bad and the good one is good. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I guess it's still the action button. The way they wrote the other one, the good one is the cancel is separated from the create. Then the bad, both the cancel and the create are on the same. So it's very difficult for the user to navigate around this bad design. Yes. Clumps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice. So for the good one, right, you can see that it is very direct. For the bad one, I don't know what I'm doing, create a job. So it's just like you trying to write something, right? Where you have subheading. If you're trying to type a letter, you have the subheadings and then you have all of that things attached to it. So I already know what I'm doing here, which is a create a job. And then the buttons are well positioned and the buttons are clear. Unlike the other one that looks like text. Now, why we have text button, right? We have text button, but this bad one is not really clear. So you're seeing some of the mistakes you don't need to make in UI UX in design once you start designing all of that. So how about the third one? Third one. Okay, do we have just one person in this class? Hello. All right. So the difference between this and this, right, is the fact that this one has a whole lot of repetition. that would have been avoided if you just put it one way. Hello, is anyone saying anything?
I'm looking at the both. I can already see the difference that there are too many of instructions on the bad one, and then it's so confusing that when we think of loading and unloading, and turn off and turn on, when we and the buttons are not in the appropriate positioning, but this the good one has very simplified situation. Once you enter, it start loading, then you can send to where it's supposed to be, and when you are done, you can turn off. And why this one has so many things that may confuse the user. So that is what I thought is the major constraint there. I don't know what I'm.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. You're right. A lot of information, and in design, in product design, we don't like a whole lot of information because you're overloading the user. So when we get into more topics that has to do with UX laws, heuristics, and all of that, you get to understand this. So for this, I just want to see how you're able to spot out issues. All right. So the next one. Please, the next one. What can you see? Please, guys. It's not nice that just few persons are following up. It's for our benefit. So unmute, except you're in a place where you can talk, but unmute. Try to contribute in class. It makes our class fun and yeah, and less tensed. Please.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Buko.
Okay, I guess for the next one, the good design, the response under the email is calling the user to the fact that that is where the problem is. Unlike the bad design, it's showing, or probably that is all the response are not right. So the good design was very specific about telling the user that it was the email that has a particular form.
Additionally, also pointing in addition, the good design has a feedback mechanism that the email you fill is not correct. And why this one does not indicate that at all? That is the concern, as I can look at.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So for the VAR design, right? It's the error message. There's an error that we can see, but we don't know where it is. So it's just like what I see from this is just imagine that you want to. So for those of you that are in the office already, right? I don't know where you're coming from, but imagine that you get lost and you need to find your way out. Now there's a signboard, but the signboard is not showing you the exact street that you need to enter. So let's say, for instance, you're seeing Ishala on the left hand side. It's you can see that there's an error, but you don't know how to fix it. But the good one is showing you the exact place that the error is so that you can fix it. All right, so the next one. The next one, please.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
So I want to try, man. I want to try. So the diagram on the design on the right, as in the button that says login me, as in, is the only one highlighted, and you want to take that one first. But in the one on the left, all of them is is colorful and you don't know which one to take first, which one is more important than the other. But in the one that is on the right, the one that is more important is clearly stated.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice, nice. Thank you. Is there another person that wants to say something?
It's the same picture I saw, and it's the same understanding I derived from what the other colleagues of mine have just explained. So it's all the same at the first uh, sign up and log me in and other thing. So that the log me is just education, which is very much bold here, and why other one follow as a order of instruction. For this case now, all these are of the same instruction. So first user who is to sign up maybe is very confused. It's either to sign up first, and whereas or what more is not to write password first. So all these are the things. So, but this one very explicit. Log me. So this is the process. Go sign, then you put your password. So that is the understanding I derived. I think maybe you can add more.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, okay, hello.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
The
good morning.
one at the right is actually correct, while the one at the right is left is bad. Because the login and the one painted blue, three painted blue are not passing a vital information, but the other one by the right are passing information. The login me is different, and the sign up is different. Then the forgot passwords are different. But the one at the right is actually on the same role and painted the same thing.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much, guys. You all you all got it right, right? So in design there's something we call so in design, right, there's something we call to show what is very it's just like you see the one that is bad. We have everything calling for your attention. Can you guys hear me? You have everything calling for your attention, right? Every sign up and you don't know which one to do. It's just like pick me, pick me, pick me. But this one is better. It's a form of this
The
is more important than the other one. They are all important buttons, but the login is the most important thing because the subheading there is login. So you have to log in. It's all of the things you've explained to the right. So the last one but not the least, what can you see here? Why is this one good and why is this one bad? Hello? Hello? So I think just 2% and we're done with this.
Okay. The the good UX, the texts that are embedded in it were straight to the point. So it's not as
Okay.
clumsy as the bad UX. Then the call to action button as well. The color that was used.
Oh, okay. So any other person?
The color combination for the good US design is good, while that of the bad US is not okay. And the call to action button for the good US rightly and depicts the delete that it is danger, but good US the blue color did not rightly depict danger. So that is what I see about it.
Oh, okay. So it's yeah, this is actually very correct. You can see that there's something called color psychology. Once you see red, it comes to your mind that there's danger and you'd want to read it very well. But the blue comes as it's not an error. So this is delete. So you have to use the right color to show it. And then this other one also included the delete button so that people would understand, and not just the delete button, right? It was able to tell you, explain in depth if what would happen if you click on the delete button, the action that would happen, the things that would be permanently deleted. And this is far better than what we have on the left. So that's it. I like the fact that we are now able to understand. So the whole purpose of this exercise is for us to be able to understand and for us to be able to find fault or be able to look at faults and say, okay, this is the reason why this is like this and all of that. So is there any other question? We will go on a break now and we'll be back by 10. This is if we go on 10 o'clock, we'll be back by 10:30 and then we'll continue. So is there All right, so we'll be looking at heuristic principles, right? So before we continue, I want to be sure that we understand what a way UI UX person is. We also understand the whole idea of being a product designer. We now know the skills that we can get as a product designer. All right, so the next thing we are looking at is what we call usability heuristics. Now, the whole idea of usability heuristics, right, for user interface design is so that we get to know um the rules that are specific to design guidelines. So I think before heuristic, right, let's look at UX laws. So I'll just pause because heuristics in heuristic principle, most of the things you would see, you will still see them here. So let's go to UX laws. All right, so we have 21 laws in UI UX. So I'm not saying that we all need to cram this, right? You don't need to cram it. You just need to know how to implement it and when to use it. So just the way we have laws, right? Laws are things that guides humans. We have laws that guides us. So if you fail the law, that means you've committed an offense. So that's what UX law. So, so for UX law, we have the first law that is called the Jacob's law. So, what does this particularly mean? It says that users prefer your sites to be the way other sites are behaving. So let me ask a question, right? Have you tried to use hello, Ayo? Okay. So have you tried to use Uber and Bolt, right? The first time you used Uber, after learning Uber and all of that, when you decided to use Bolt, were you expecting Bolt and Uber to have the same kind of interface, or were you expecting it to operate the same kind of way? So I just need a yes or a no.
No.
No. Okay. So maybe I did not ask the question where, right? I think that I did not ask the question where. But so the question is around the day you used Uber. After navigating Uber, you went to Volt. Okay, we are not talking about interface right now, right? We are talking about how it functions. So I know that if I go to Uber and I want to order a ride, the first thing I need to do is to type my address, the address I'm going to, my destination, because my location will be picked by the map here. And I just need to type my destination and then search. I should see driver, order for it. If you go to Boots, right, it's the same pattern. It's the same pattern you see. So this particular law is saying users prefer your site to be designed the way other sites are designed. So if I'm using Piggyvex and I move to Carrywise, I want the flow to be the same way. I want it, maybe the colors will change, but I want it to do the same thing for me. So because users are spending more time, that's why you notice that a new app will come today and you still get more users. And you don't even need to teach these users how to navigate. They just automatically know how to navigate. When Kuda Bank came out, you could navigate Kuda because you're used to other banks, right? So that's what this particular law is saying. It means that our mental model, we all have mental models, right? And we want our design, want to navigate our designs the same way other designs are being navigated. So let's say you've been using an edutech. If you go to Udemy, that's the whole idea behind all of this app. You'll be wondering what is the difference. Every day, new fintech app will come out. New fintech app will come out today. Another new one will come out tomorrow, and all of that. It's the same behavior. They behave the same way, but different, just different colors, all of that. So this is where we got that approach. So that's one thing you need to note, that if you start designing now, from when we start designing, once we start designing, one thing you will get to notice is that any design you're doing, you'd have to get inspiration elsewhere. If you say you want to design sign-up screen, your sign-up would get to work the same way the sign-ups of other places is working. So are we together?
Yes.
Yeah. So the next one is aesthetic usability effects. So for this law tells us that users perceive visually appealing sites as usable. So what does this mean? If you see a girl today, right, you just feel like all fine girls have sense, all fine boys have sense. So that's just the whole explanation to this law. You just feel like because this person is fine, this person has sense. It's just the way they just perceive that everybody wearing glasses is brilliant. As far as you have, although we have the ones that are not really brilliant, but because of that kind of, should I say, it's a law trying to just generalize something. So that's what this particular law means. It means that we feel like as far as a design is fine, it is usable. But that's a very big misconception, right? Because not all fine designs are usable. There's some designs that are really fine, but you can't still use them. Now, the next one is Doherty threshold. For the Doherty threshold, right? Human beings, the human computer interaction is ideal when the pace is less than 40 milliseconds so that you don't need to wait. So what this is trying to tell you is if I click on login, bam, it should take less than 400 milliseconds to log in. So it makes the users feel happy, feel in charge of the whole process. So if I come to your website and I stay for like 10 minutes, it's not loading, I get easily frustrated. And the next thing is you get to just move away because it's not giving you what you want. So this, now you'll be asking yourself this question now, how is this related to you as a designer? You would have to include it and ensure you tell your audience or tell your developers that this is what you want to achieve. So even when you're prototyping your work, so we have time-based prototyping now. You also get to prototype it the way you want it to interact or the way you want it to be. So a response time, the best response time is 1 second. So as a product designer, if you go to another page and it's not giving you that seconds, you know that it's a bad experience. So the next one is you can see how this is loading. It should not load. The next one is fit law. So for fit law, it says that make sure the target or action is easily accessible to the users, both in terms of distance and the time and target size. So let's say, for instance, you have just the way we saw that other design where we have 3 buttons. Now, what this is saying that the target action should be accessible to users. So that's why you notice that if you're trying to put a button for, you have 2 buttons, sign up and log in. The one that is that they need to do, the header, let's say your header is sign up, you have to put the button close. So how do you do it? You make elements large enough for users to select. So if you're doing a button, your button should be large. Your button should be to be a good size, to be fit. So just like the word fit. Then you have to separate the elements from other elements using colors or bold. For instance, just so you have this is the main focus, the fit law. You can see how they use bold to differentiate this from this. So that is what you can use. You can use color to differentiate it. Then clickable anywhere so that it will be easy to carry out the action. So it should be clickable. Your click should be close to where you want it to be close to. Then the next one is limit what the work users have to do. So just like floating social media on a website, you just float the social media so that if they want to see it, they'll see it easily. Now we have the next law. Am I too fast, guys, or we are following? Oh, okay. So the next one is the X law. What is X law? X law states that, I think we've even seen it in one of the designs I showed us. Too many complicated choices would actually make a user tired. So that's just what it is. So just imagine you're taking a course, right? And the list is so much. You have plenty lists. It's showing you plenty lists. You get tired. So what X law is saying is choice is less is better. So that's, if you go to some books, if you read some books, they'll tell you less is better. So reduce information load that you're giving to your users. They will not learn everything at once. Ensure that you reduce the load you're trying to give them. Especially when I've seen some designs, right, where you see drop down, a whole lot of drop down. You can see this. If you check this drop down before, some people would even do it in a way where, just look at this drop down. You can see that it is easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Users can just grasp to it. For some persons, will make it very long and it will be tiring. Now, if you look at all of these things, it's just the most important design or the most important stuff that they kept here. So the next law we are talking about is Miller's law. For Miller's law, it said an average person can hold just 7 things at once. 7 things plus 2 or minus 2. So what does that mean? It means I can read 9 elements at once. Just 9 elements. So anything that is more than 9, I can't read it. So what this law is saying is, if what you're showing to your users as drop down is more than 9, please reduce it. So it's called overload. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Okay, sorry guys. Basirat, right? I'm a lady, not a guy. Maybe I did not do that introduction. Is it maybe because my voice is deep, right? I'm a lady. So, for Miller's law, right, it says that an average person can hold just 7 items at once, minus two or plus two. So, what this is trying to tell us that our attention is limited. So you don't need to give us plenty things, right? We can just hold few things. So minimize what we have to show us. So sometimes what we do, right? We filter things. We filter things based on importance. We filter things based on importance. If it's not important, so this is how we used to settle all of these things. If it's not important, you tell them anything that is not important should be discarded. You just give them the things that are really important. So that's it for it. Now the next one is you can just learn this from Google Meet. You can see this Google Meet, right? Or there are different things that they can put here, but they just put the important things here. And if you want to do it, do not learn more. You have to click on learn more, and that's it. So the next one is the goal gradient effect. So let me ask a question. Bashirat, you set a goal for yourself, right? That you want to achieve this. This training is 4 weeks, and you set yourself a goal that you want to achieve. You want to be a product designer in 4 weeks. Now, what do you do to confirm that you're meeting your goals?
Okay, I think for first off, I want to try as much as possible not to miss any class. I want to try as much as possible not to miss any class, and I will make sure I follow up with the assignment, the quizzes, and whatever it is they give us. And I also want to set a timetable for myself for probably a recap of what we've done in class, and also do more research for the things that probably we are not able to cover in class. I think that's it for me. Yep.
Okay. So now what this particular law is trying to tell us is the closer you get to your goal, the happier you become. So let's imagine that you've set yourself this goal, right? And once you're getting to the 3rd week or 4th week and you're understanding the whole process, as you're getting to week 4, you're understanding it, you're happy, you're building something, you're happy. So this particular law, which is goal gradient effect, states that the closer you're getting to your goal, the faster you'd want to get to it. Once we start getting to week 4, most persons will be excited, would want to start applying for jobs because you know that you're gradually achieving your goal. So that's it. So what this is telling us in form of design, what you do is you get to give your users. Have you seen when you're trying to fill a form, you see step 1, step 2, once you're done, they will tick it, step 3. So it's just like you're creating checklists for yourself, and the more you're finishing it, the more you're happy that you're completing the whole process. Just look at this. Create a Dropbox account. Once you're done creating it, it will show you done, and you'll be happy about that. And the next one is set up your folder. Once you're done setting your folder, you'll be happy that you've set your folder and you close it. Then we have start uploading file. So once you're done with that one, you still mark done. So you can see how it is very essential for us to do it. So the next one is the law of common region. What this is trying to tell us is you group elements that share the same as area. So let's say, for instance, just look at you group elements that you feel that are related. So you group them because you feel that they are related. For instance, look at this design now. You can see resources, education, what sports services, this. All of these are grouped together because they are related. When you talk about blog, ebooks, free courses, and all of this, they are related. They are. if you talk about onboarding, hire a service provider, and all of that, they are still related. So that's what this law is trying to tell us, that you group elements because they are together. They are together, so you get to group them. Now we have the law of proximity. So we have the law of common region, or the law of proximity. So it's still the same as this first law, that's the law of common region. But this, you group elements that are positioned close to each other. So you take them as they are similar. Elements that are common to each other, you take them that they are really similar and all of that. Uh, so you can just see one, this. So group them based on the steps, step by step, on how they are going and how they are showing. Okay. Sorry guys, please. I'm sorry. Okay, so are we clear on this? Please guys, I'm sorry, right? Can you give me like a 10 minutes, please? I really need to sort out something. Someone is outside my gates. Is that fine, please? I'm sorry, I'll be back. Just 10 minutes. Let me attend to the person. Thank you. I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain this law, right? You said if you group elements together, so what this is going to help you do, right, is going to help you know how to manage everything when it comes to grouping. So just imagine having resources, right? Under resources, we have different kinds of resources. So see, as you get to group them, from this particular example, you can see how you group them by grouping. Articles is a resource, event is a resource, research is a resource, guides resource, and disco resource, help center resource. So this is saying that the grouping makes it easy for users to interact with your design, and it will get to perceive elements that are near to each other as linked. So before you start grouping anything, just put it in mind that your users will perceive it that they are linked together. So that's why you get to do all of those things, to do all of these things. So now just look at this example, right? Aside that, when you want to use it for opinion, you can see that the way they group this thing, they grouped it from hard to easy. Now, in between the hard, you have things, the one closest to hard is perceived as is also very hard. The one closest to this is also perceived that it is a bit hard. Then same thing from if you're coming from easy down there, it is perceived that this is like this. So I don't know if we get this particular law. Do we get it? Do you understand? So that we can move to the next law. All right. So the next law is a law of uniform connectedness or connection, uniform connection. So it is assumed that visually connected elements are related. So when you start using different colors, blue, if you start using sign up, login, those kind of things, there's some shapes you use that are the same. So if I put circles, 5 circles, it is just perceived that these circles are related to each other one way or the other. So that's what this particular law. So we are not really going to be spending much time explaining some of these laws because they are related to each other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send us the I'm going to send this on the chat here. So please, someone help me post it on the post it on the WhatsApp group. Post it on the WhatsApp group. So the next one is the law of Prägnanz. So for the law of Prägnanz, people interpret complex or ambiguous images in simple forms because interpretation takes cognitive effort. In simple words, anything you want to do, put it very simple so that people can be able to interpret it. So that people can be able to interpret it to your users. If you want to use pictures, the pictures you use should be easily understandable. So let's say, for instance, I'm trying to design something, right? I'm trying to design in graphics. If you're a graphic designer, you would understand that once you start designing, the kind of picture, even in design, the kind of picture you set out is based on what you want to do. For instance, you want to design something for professionals. You look for professional pictures. You look for professional pictures that you would use. If you're trying to do buttons, remember that our first example that the button one was so ambiguous that people could not read it. It's the same thing that happens when you're trying to design even button, CTA button. It should be understandable to the core. People should be able to understand it. Now we have the law of similarity. The law of similarity says user tends to perceive similar elements in a design as a whole, even if they are separate. So if these two are related, just like you have this rapid, if you go to Google, right, you see all of these Google this first one, this second one, we all believe that they are similar to each other. They are similar to each other in one way or the other because I know that the second one is always a link. The second one is always a link. The first one is always like the title and all of that. So this is what this particular law is saying. Now the next law is the law.
Sorry, ma.
Okay.
This law of proximity and this law of similarity, what can you say is the difference?
Okay. So for the law of proximity, right, it's talking about elements that are grouped together that are positioned close to each other. That's what that particular law is talking about. Then for this, that they perceive similar elements, it means that purple means that you've clicked something. For instance, when you go to Google, blue means that you've not clicked it. So what this particular one is saying, similar elements that you've been using over and over time, they just perceive it like that, shapes, colors, and this. Some of these laws are really not different they are really not entirely different. So while that the law of proximity is talking about positioning, where you position this left and right, the way you position this. The perfect example, right, is a nav bar. For every nav bar, you notice that the logo is always by the side, and the logo is always seen as a standalone. And then you have the other elements, that the other links here, and then you'd always have your button this other place. So you see these things, how it is positioned, it is perceived as they are close to each other. Hello.
Hi.
Have I explained it? Can I move on? Did you get
Okay.
it? I said
Yeah, yeah, you have made the point, and so I have learned what you said. Mine is to learn.
okay. So alright. So the next one is what we call the Oscam result. The Oscam result states that when you're choosing between design prototype, you should choose the design that is simplest. So what it means is your design should be very simple. This is apple.com. Can you see how simple it is? The only thing here is IMAX, say hello, learn more, order. Very simple. So it means if you're looking at design, there's no particular skit or joke that is going on now. You see it almost everywhere. It is called when African mothers they are looking for a hairstyle for their children, or when they are looking for gifts to give to this, they would see all of the complex thing and you would see them shake their head, say no, till they get to the simplest one. So that's what this particular law is saying. This law is saying that your designs, choose the simplest design. Anything you're doing should be very simple. Good design is the little design, very simple, not complicated. That's what good design is. Then we have Pareto principle, which states that 80% of the results comes from 20% of your work. So what this means is this is mostly for, like, remember that as product designers we are concerned about the overall design. So an MVP is very important. So you don't need to get everything before you don't need to get everything before you see you've gotten you're done. You don't need to have all of your design in one place. You can come with an MVP to complete what you're doing. So simple, even if you have just a page, take it out. It is better that it is out there, the result is there, than there is nothing at all. So are we together? So it means always think of MVP. Create low fidelity, give it to your customers, let them criticize it and give it back to you. So you don't need to wait till you get everything. You can start with what you have. All right, so the next one is Parkinson law. Parkinson law states that a tax will inflate to take off all the available items. So what this is saying is you should limit the time it takes to complete the tax. That's where your user flow comes in. Your user flow is very important. The time it will take for people to get to complete the task should be very short. So let's say, for instance, I want you to sign off. Sign off should not take more than 3 seconds. Sign off should not take more than 3 seconds, right? So limit the time it takes to complete a task. Order and Uber order and Uber order and Uber should not take you more than 3 seconds. So anything you're doing, you should consider the time it will take for people to log in something. Then we have the pick and rule. The pick and rule states that people judge an experience based on how they feel from the starting and at the end. So instead of the average sum of all moments. So um you hear this word, first impression matters. First impression matters. So that's what this means. The first impression you give to people, right? It matters a lot. The first and the last impression. Nobody would want to judge you after you're done. You come to learn and the this thing is not fine. You come to learn, right? And the learning experience is not fine. Tomorrow you will not join. So the first impression, if I don't explain what you understand and I don't answer your question, the truth is we are all humans. Tomorrow you will not want to join the class. So what this means is even in your design, anything you're working on, give them enjoyable moments from the starting. They should be able to enjoy the starting of your design before they move into any other place. So take a look at, okay, this is not plain. Well, you would see that's why some people make their 4 very fine. You know, 4 pages, right? Those ones that is telling you that we have issues. People make it very fine because they want you to like to have good experience, or they want you to stay even while the system is having serious issues. So that's what this law means. Now the next law is the Potex law. Truth is you don't need to cram all of this, right? You just need to read it and know how to apply it. So be flexible in what you accept from users and limit what you ask them. So what this means is if you are asking the user to share their country and the entire US accept it. So this is talking about how we'll get to do things, right? Let's say for instance, I'm trying to type River State. Once I type ROI, you should be able to complete the other ones for me. So there are some things that you would ask that they need to give to you, but you can help them by completing it. These days, if you want to sign up on any platform, once you see Google, once you log in with your Google, it's going to automatically give you what you want. So basically that's it for this. Now we have the serial position effect. People best remember the first and the last item. So your most important thing should be on the first and the last. Just the same way people read in a Z pattern. So people read in a Z pattern or they read in a F pattern. So anything you're putting, put it from year to year and they would read it. So the next law is so that's basically all the laws from Jacob's law, but the most important of them all is talking about the most important. You talk about Jacob's law, you talk about Fick's law, you talk about its law, you talk about Miller's law. So all of these laws, right, are things that would help you to design your work very well. So why do I feel like you already have a lot of information for today? Hello, guys. Have I overloaded you with a lot of information, or we are still moderate?
We are okay. To me, I'm okay. Only that I'm waiting for the practical display of all this together so that one can master them.
Okay, so now this is where the issue is, right? You know that it is UI and UX. Now the UX comes first. And when we talk about the UX, right, it's more like you get to first of all understand it before the practical. So most times when we talk about UI, when we talk about product design, people are expecting us that we jump to Figma immediately to start working. It's not going to work that way, right? We need to take the different processes. When we start applying them, you yourself, you know that you are applying the laws one after the other. Once we start designing, you see it yourself. Or you don't better still, you don't need to see it yourself. You get to if you're using any app and the app is frustrating you, you'll be pointing that this is the reason why this is like this. This is the reason why this is not like this. You get. But for practicals, yeah, would get to the practical stage. So before we get to like I said, the tool that we'll be using is Figma. But before we get to Figma, I would want us to do something. I do this in almost all my class, right? You know that we are going to be doing practicals. And one thing is about having direction from starting. So I want us to now talk about different problems we've faced one way or the other. that you'd want to fix. So Basira, don't worry, I already know where I'm going to put you, right? Health tech. You're going to do health tech. Well, I would still want to hear other opinions on. So is there any particular field that you're particular on solving? You start by telling us the problem you encountered, and then we are going to group ourselves. So what we'll be doing is from subsequent classes, right? Now, it's not just enough to call EdTech or this in tech. Just tell us the problem. So we want to know the problem that you encountered within that state. So before we will not think of how to solve it. So in the next class, when we start doing research, you do research based on that particular field. When we start designing, anything we start doing, you'll be doing it based on that field. So, all right, let's start. We've all faced problems one way or the other, right? So I want to hear the problems that you faced and what you feel like can be the solution, so we can start from there.
From the educational sector, maybe
Okay.
retention of getting quality staff for school and getting them retained. Some of those are the challenges I also see at the time I worked there.
Okay, so I can actually relate to this one because I'm a teacher by profession. That's what I studied in school. I studied education. So you know the aspect of trying to get, but then Bright, you know that if you don't explain this thing well enough, this is what we're talking from the starting, you'll be able to communicate. Like there should be a problem, an actual problem. Getting teachers might not be the problem. Maybe something you faced before. This is like me trying to tell you how to speak like a product designer. So you can start
Okay.
from, okay, let me give you an example. I came into Lagos, I think 2 years ago. When I came into Lagos, I was looking for an accommodation, and it was very difficult to get an accommodation. And at the end of the day, now I'm solving an issue in the property tech sector because I have like a personal story and I can relate with the whole experience and all of that. So even if you don't have the experience firsthand, right, you should be able to give this story, or you should be able to say it in a way that people will be interested that you solve it. So let's give it another trial. The same edutech or
Okay, like that case you've just highlighted now on the basis that you have a accommodation challenge and you are putting, now it's a challenge and challenge to so many people too. For the newcomer, what would be the necessary product design on that course or in that related challenge? Because it's also a thing to come up with a specific thing that will actually meet the needs of the user. Is it that we say how to get properties to lease?
okay, so all right, so let me answer this, right? So for the product design, there's a way we solve issues. So what we do is we pick simple issues and make it complex issues, right, and make it simple. Now I have this issue in the accommodation sector. So the first thing I'm going to do, right, is I'll first of all do my research. That's the number one thing. Do research to know how many persons have faced that in this particular industry. Now that's why you're a product designer, because unlike sometimes you might be employed in another company and you still get to look at different challenge and come up with issue. So for me, this particular one, I was not employed in any company. So this is what I did. The first stage is to conduct the research. After conducting the research, I got to find out that we have two parties in this whole game. We have the agents, we have landlords, and with that, we have the end users, right? So without the research, I will not be able to identify these people. So I will not get to talk to them based on, when we get to research, it will make more sense. Now it's just me talking. When I now get to the next phase, which is I talk to the landlords, I get to know their own problem. What is the issue? Why is accommodation very difficult in this particular city? Why are agents behaving the way they are behaving? What is triggering them? And then for our users, what do they want? Once I'm done with this particular research, I'm done with this method, right? The next thing I'll do now is I'll now start to get all of those things. It's the design thinking process. All of those things I've gotten from the research, I'll now start analyzing them one after the other and start putting out what is going to be good, what is now going to be good. So now I'm defining the problem. So agents want more money. So would go to help them. So for our users, what do they want? What is another thing that is particular to agents that we need to help them get? So after this next step, the next step I will now do is I will now get to now throw a prototype. So now what will be my end goal is I'm going to design a platform, a website that agents can come and upload house. This is one, right? They can come and upload house. Then for our users, what would our users do? Our users will see the houses that they've uploaded. Do you get right? They will now see the houses that they've uploaded. Let me show you a particular so let me show you a particular listing platform that you get to understand this very well. So this is a listing platform, right? And this is let me come to this place. They have the marketplace. So if I click on it, if I click on this, so now you can see what they have here. If you need a house, the difference is this is for service apartment. If you need a house, you can see the price is monthly. So all you need to do as a user, you need to come here and see you are looking for a house in Yaba. What type of house are you looking for? Shared house. It will load. And then how much are you looking at? Say 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira to 1 million naira. You save it. How are you looking at to pay? You get it. This is a design that somebody did, right? This is a design, and you can see that there's no house around there for me. So you can see that there is no house here for me. But once there's an apartment for me, I will still get to see it here that there is an apartment. So do you now get? So now what's the next thing for your users? The next thing is if I click on the particular space, I should be able to see the details, the space details, and so on and so forth. So this is basically it. So you've seen how we've that issue can be solved using a platform, a website. But you can't solve it without you conducting your research and all of that.
Okay, but on the educational sector of people looking for quality teachers and retraining, I think, can't we also have a way of designing a website that we gain teachers and those who are looking for schools and schools that are looking for teachers to drop all their attention?
Yeah, that's why you're here. That's why you're here, right? We've identified an issue. We are now going to solve it to design something. So now it's very complex, right? Don't get it twisted. It's very complex because we've not even gone deep into product design. This is just the starting. So by the time we start going deep, you see that educational issue you talked about, you will now start breaking it down. You will start breaking it down. Before you know, you will get you will get what's it called? You get a product that you build from scratch. So for you now, the only thing you need to do is identify the problem. You've identified the problem in this tech. So leave the rest with time. Within 4 weeks, you'll be proud. You would have done the whole full design. Everything will be clear for you now. All right, so we've gotten one edutech. What other one, please? We have edutech, we have health tech. Sorry, Basirat, do you want to do something? Do you want to talk about a different problem or it's still within the health tech?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's health. It's health. It's
Well,
health.
have you
Can I go
identified any
ahead?
other problem? Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I have. I just thought of it now because the reason why I thought of it is because as a medical doctor, because I worked in a general hospital for like a year and some few months. So I know how hectic it can be for you to see a doctor, especially a specialist doctor, like different field, pediatrics. I want to see O&G, like doctor that deal with women only, and all the likes. So I know for some people they prefer, oh, instead of going to a public owned hospital, why not go to a private that is being owned by a specialist doctor? That okay, this is my problem. I'm having a liver problem. This doctor owns an hospital that takes care of anything gastroenterology that has to do with abdominal and all those stuff like that. So because while I was living in Ogun State then, I'm a fan of using private hospital because of the ease, the comfort that comes with it. Sure you get. So,
Yeah.
but I realized that moving to Lagos State here, even me googling on Google too, it was still difficult for me to see a specialist to see some specialist hospital that are private owned. So I for me personally, especially for my kids and also for myself, probably anything that has to do with female stuff that have to do that have to see a gynecologist or probably a pediatrician for the children. So I prefer to use a private hospital, but that is being owned by a pediatrician, not a general practitioner doctor. Aha. So I felt if we can have like an app something that consultants in different fields, in different parts of medical fields, can actually upload their hospital names and probably the detail of their hospital. Like, oh, if you go to so, I will see this doctor. This is the location of the doctor. Okay, I live in Ikorodu now. Okay, who are the specialist doctor that deals with children that I can see in Ikorodu that are close to my place? Then also probably for O&G, I mean obstetrics and gynecology, then that one too. Or also probably for oncology and different things like that. But they are private one, not public one now. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Aha.
And okay, so
So
I
for
like the way
some
you're explaining it because you really want to work on it. You see all this design that you already, I like the fact that you're already seeing the screens. The screens that you get to design is
exactly.
giving me joy that you already know the screens and how you're going to design it.
Okay.
So yeah, very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that would be what I want to work on. Because I
Okay.
had that
So
challenge when I moved from Ogun State to Lagos
to
State.
Lagos.
Because I have specialist hospital that are private one that I use for myself for the kids. But when I came to Ikorodu, it was difficult for my even Google. But when I get it, I will now realize that oh, the person is not a consultant, just a general practitioner or blah 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 like that. And you know, some people that work in general hospital like that, they've been working in a particular department. You will not know they are not consultant, that they didn't do residency, but they were trained under obstetrics and gynecology, but that does not make them a consultant in that field. So for people like that now, but for people that have been given certificate as a consultant to practice in a particular field, so if there is an app that can actually put them together whereby they will upload their details, so this is that, you've seen every detail, you are convinced that this person is actually trained under this field and he or she owns this hospital in a particular area, it's not far from me. Okay, I can easily go there. I think that's just what I have in mind.
Yeah, so nice. So far we have two. How many are we in this class today? We are eight. So far we have two edutech and health tech. So is there any other idea that would want to add to these two so that we'll now choose which we'll be working on? Tolulope, Mashud, Nuruddin, Ayo. I've not heard your voices. Do you have any idea to add to what we already have? Hello. It's looking like some of us joined this class and left our phone. No?
For me, I don't have anyone in mind actually. So
You don't have anyone there. Do you like sports?
yes, but not so much like that. I just
Oh, you
follow.
don't like football. How about a football streaming app?
That will also be fine actually.
So you can see that there is a problem. For most persons, streaming football is actually very difficult, except you have Showmax on your phone and all of that. So you can decide to build something around that. There are different ideas, right? So one thing you need to now note when you talk about UI, you're just thinking of digitalizing what they do normally online. So let's say if we're talking about buying Gary in the market, you can decide to do an e-commerce store or a marketplace where people can now sell Gary. So just look at what we have traditionally and try to bring it out online. That's basically what you should do now.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So is there any other person that wants to say any other thing?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. So I don't know if this is the problem, but I'm thinking like this that maybe we are in a vicinity and I'm thinking maybe there should be an app that can bring together people of like mind. Maybe for example, you are a UI UX designer. So in that locality or vicinity, then the app will help you to locate fellow UI UX designers that are in that locality. So anywhere you go, you can just you will be rest assured that the app will help you to locate and find fellow UI UX designer that you can work with. Because some people just like me, I bring out my best when I work with people. So but the main problem sometimes is that the ease at which you find people of like mind that you can work together. People that you know may be in other places, maybe they are in other places in Nigeria, like maybe they are in Abuja and you have relocated, you are to Lagos, you are not more with them again. So I don't know, maybe there can be an app to help you locate, to help you locate fellow UI UX designer or fellow programmers or any occupation that you can just mingle with and you hang out with like that, so that you work together. Maybe you can rub minds together. If you have, maybe you are here to get a job, you can just talk to them and they will help you out. So, but I don't know if that is a problem to work on.
Yes, it is. It's a very valid problem, right? So this is more like Uber for I say Uber, sorry, Google Map for like minds. So so just the way Google Map is, right? Is it Google Map or there's a particular map where you search a location, you'll be able to see, yes, Google Map, you'll be able to zoom in to see the different things around that location. So you can decide to employ that particular model where it will be you just search for UI UX designer on Google Map. Okay, Uber model works perfectly. You go on Uber, you search the location you're going to. So now you just put UI UX designers, or even Jumia model works. Once you put it, it now shows you the different UI UX designers that are staying around that location in Ikorodu. So once you put UI UX designer, you come to our location, you put Ikorodu, it will show you them and their address, right? And that's how you can be able to do that. So this is perfectly okay. So what are we going to call it? I'm thinking of the word to call it. Location based. I'm looking for the word to call that. Should I say location tech or so let's just someone should suggest, give me a suggestion. What name do you think I can call this? We have edutech, health tech.
I think
Click tech.
we can make that research on ChatGPT or something.
Yeah. I think let's use
I can just type
ChatGPT.
farming.
Can we call it a Google product designer of
All right, so
product design.
Basirat, you give us ChatGPT idea. Give me a prompt.
I'm trying to do that. Just trying to put in some words and see what it will bring. But
Okay.
I will extend the stuff before the end of the class.
And app that
Whatever
helps
I get.
people look for like minds within their location can be code words using health tech, edutech, property tech as examples. Hey God, I know say you should give me name, so social align, social tech. Yeah, click tech, social tech, any of these. Social tech. All right, so we have then the next one is football tech. All right, so now that we have four ideas, let's where do you want to fall in? So Basirat is in health, and she's the. So what you do now is just to choose a particular field that you want to be. Bright is in edutech. I think Ayo is in football tech. Is it Moshood is in which tech? Mind tech. Sorry, social tech. Whether click tech. So the remaining two, Nuruddin, Tolulokwe, and Wolu Atife. Where do you want to join? Where are you people joining? Okay, so Tolu don't want to say anything. Nuruddin don't want to say anything. Okay, Tolu said health tech. Alright, it's fine. So is there any question? Let's use the remaining minutes to answer questions. So we are done with today's class. So I'm going to share. I've shared
Sorry,
the first one.
are we going to be working on it individually, or maybe is it like
Yes,
we are going to
individually.
pick one and everybody will be
No,
contributing to it?
individually, right? But I will be directing you all through the process. So for anything we do in class, if I give assignments, you will go back and do it. Do you get?
Okay, so
I get
what are
you.
we what are we to do with this specification you gave it your first now?
So for now, for today, there's nothing. Just know that this is your field. Now, when we get to the next stage where we talk about user research, so once we're done with user research, you go and conduct research as against that field. So once we're done with research for that field, we'll now get to now do all of those other things, information architecture, user flow, we'll get to do empathy map, we'll get to do we'll draw different things. See, there's a whole lot, right? Today is day one. I just wanted to give us that what's it called about product design. So
All right.
after from day two, you know how to do all of those other ones. So for today's task, right, the only thing I'm giving us today to do is you should go back, go online, make your research, understand what UI UX is, product design, and get differences. Learn the laws of UX. I've already shared the link. So it's just reading that I want you to do more of reading today so that you be exposed any resources you can get. The first resources I've already shared it. You can get the other ones online. What is UI UX? And we are good to go. So today is more of research on what UI UX product design. Know everything you need to know, what is obtainable about that field from what we did today, and that's it. Then in our next class, that's on Friday, we'll continue from where we stop. We'll get to now go into it deeper into what is expected from you, the research method, then heuristic principle. We'll also talk about heuristic principle on Friday.
Is it going to be online or physical?
So for this week, I think for this year we are doing more of I think I'll leave that to the admin. DVD school, are you here? Please can you address them on that? Admin. Hello. So let me reach out to them and get.
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I know I want to ask this question